Hello, I'm Darren Crapo, and welcome to part 2 of our MUFON Marathon on UFO Planet, episode 68. On today's program, we will be visiting Portugal, Norway, the Ukraine, Egypt, Italy, Denmark, and the United States of America. We'll get all that started right away, but first check out some of the clips that you'll see on today's show. Well, thank you for tuning into the program today. A little bit of a surprise. You weren't expecting a Thursday program this week, but we're back into the Thursday and Monday swing of UFO Planet. Expect a program twice a week. We're going to get started right away with our MUFON Marathon by heading to Portugal. We'll start off in Portugal on August 11, 2011. Elvis, Portugal here. We have an object up in the sky, but notice at the front of this object, it almost looks like there's some wings or something that's sticking out from that object. Very interesting looking. This was captured on July 21st, 2011, case 34081. An interesting looking object up over an apartment/office complex in Portugal. September 19, 2010. Kind of has a disc shape to it, this object, doesn't it? Over Sintra, Portugal. February 5th, 2005. A lot of flashing lights going on there. At one point there we can kind of see a triangular formation. Now we go to March 14, 2009 for a very freaky video of some sort of an object up in the sky over Porto, Portugal. I guess it's not just a single object, there's multiple objects up there. And wait till we zoom in and you have a little bit closer look. They're kind of freaky looking. Definitely some morphing going on here. Now you look at it and it looks like a balloon or a piece of thread or something like that, but that's quite far up into the sky. In fact, it was kind of buried in the clouds a little bit. Better have a little closer look at this here and see what we're looking at. Slow motion. You see how that object is morphing, changing shape? Very interesting there in the motion stop. Kind of looks like a bow tie. I have no idea what to make of this. I looked at it and thought, wow, that's pretty amazing. Doesn't really look like a saucer or anything like that though, so not sure what we would call this.
balões ou caraças, não sei o que é aquilo.
Very interesting looking. I would love an explanation for that one. Now it's time to move to Norway and to see what they're capturing with their cameras there. Our first MUFON, case 43379, October 5th. Very interesting object, isn't it? Kind of looks like there's something on top of a saucer. I don't know how to describe it. Very good picture. Now we go to a video shot on July 2nd over on 2010 over Oslo. This particular object travels across the sky. Doesn't really change color. There's some flashing now and then, but that could be the camera causing that. And when you zoom into a little light up in the sky like that, it'll definitely give that diamond looking shape, even though it really isn't a diamond shaped object. It's just bad focusing. See, when the focus is bad there, it looks like a diamond. Oslo, Norway, July 2nd, 2010, case 24504. A light moving across the horizon. Now, when I saw the ISS here where I'm located, it was almost directly overhead. Now, is there a potential that what he was looking at was the ISS, or was it moving too fast to be the ISS? Next, we're going to take a look at some objects that have been spotted in the Ukraine. Our first case we're going to look at was a series of multiple photographs that were sent in from Kiev in the Ukraine. On May 17, 2012, this was captured. If you look above the large apartment complex there, you'll see an object, and as I snap through the pictures, you see that object kind of come down and then move off to the right. There is the best photograph of the object. We'll do some enhancements here. Circular. Looks very similar to what I would call an air conditioning vent in an office building. You know, those round ones they used to have years ago? Now they're all square, but very interesting looking. But it moves in the sky, so I don't think it's a reflection. Now we go to a video shot on August 9, 2012 over Kokabel, Ukraine. Digital zoom. We've seen some interesting objects so far from Portugal, Norway, and the Ukraine. Now it's the time to take a look and see what you had to say about the objects you saw in episode 67. Well, Storm Matrix, you finally did it. You've been trying for weeks to be the first viewer, and I just want to send you a congratulations and a shout out. I also want to send a special shout out to Jeanette Mayer and Boss John. You have a fan there, Laura Brown, and she wanted me to say hello to you. So wherever you are, hello from Laura Brown. Now it's time to move on to the Middle East. We're going to take a look at some items from Egypt. Let's see what they were seeing in the skies of Egypt. Here we go. September 10, 2010. Original footage from MUFON case 32806. This is the only object we have on the program today from Egypt. There were some other photographs, but they weren't good enough to make it onto the show because once they were in video format, you really couldn't see anything. This, however, is a pretty good video of something that's flashing a whole lot of colors over Egypt. Unfortunately, there's a lot of items that you can buy at the store to fly up in the air now that have LEDs on them, and this may be exactly what we're looking at over Cairo. A lot of turmoil in Egypt, and there was back in 2010 as well. Interesting that they would even allow something like that to fly in the skies. Maybe that's a clue, people. I don't know. It's so hard to see in the dark, isn't it? But it's interesting to see that, all those flashing colors there. Now we're going to take a look and see what those Italians are up to over there. Here we are in Italy. This was recorded on August 31st, 2013, not long ago, over Maniago, Italy. What this is was a series of multiple photographs. There was at least a dozen that were sent in to me, and they were of these orbs that were passing through the sky, and I don't know any other way to describe it other than there was a wave of these objects passing through the sky. I picked just a few of the photographs, enhanced a few of them so the orbs stood out more, because they are difficult to see against that blue sky. But there were just a mass of them. Maniago, Italy, case 50401. This was just over a month ago, about a month and a half. Now we're going to go December 10th, 2011, over Italy, unknown location. This was recorded from an aircraft. You can see the aircraft engine there in the bottom, so they caught something up in the sky there. Is that a craft or is it a star? December 27, 2012.
Facendo un video ma non riesco a capire che cosa è pazzesco, giù, è una luce rossa fissa, molto molto vicina, luminosa. Non è un aereo perché la quota è molto bassa e poi non ha sagoma, è luminoso. È un puntone perché ha la stessa è più luminoso di Sirio. Doppio più luminoso di Sirio. L'altezza approssimativa è molto più bassa dell'altezza di un aereo. Sta viaggiando a velocità. Ma non le mette. Ma poi non può avere quel tipo di luci lì, non ha le classiche luci di posizione.
I am so looking forward to when they install 100mm lenses on cell phone camera so we can get a little bit better shot there. Now you saw a peek there for a second. It's time for news from space. We're going to take a look at a recent discovery made by the Hubble Space Telescope. We're also going to take a look at a little bit of an update on the ISON comet, and we're also going to take a look at the meteorite that was recovered in Russia. Here we go with news from space. I didn't know what else to call this except ISON will not kill you. The ISON comet wasn't completely unknown a year ago, and it's going to come as close as it will come to the sun's surface on November 28th. However, it's going to miss the Earth by 64 million kilometers. So all those guys making YouTube videos about the disaster that we're about to have really haven't looked at the science. There's no word on new religions preparing to board ISON either. Just to keep in mind that ISON's between 2 and 5 kilometers wide, and Hale-Bopp was 30 kilometers wide. This is one of the most recent photographs that was taken of ISON, and it shows a beautiful green hue. Now it's time to take a look and see what the University of Warwick and Cambridge in the United Kingdom discovered using the Hubble Space Telescope and the Keck Observatory in Hawaii. They pointed it to the Perseus constellation, specifically at GD61, a dwarf star, and orbiting that dwarf star they found the debris of what used to be a 53-kilometer wide asteroid that was 25% water. So we know that there's water out there in deep space. This is about 150, 160 light years away from us. Great discovery. There's not a lot left of that asteroid, and what there is just debris that's being pulled into the orbit of the dying star, the dwarf star. But it's interesting to note that they were able to find, 53 kilometers or 53 miles wide. It's pretty big. And here's the life cycle of GD61. It started out as a small star, then went to a red giant, and then to a nebula, and now it is a white dwarf in the Perseus constellation. Much better than the alternative route, which would have taken it into being potentially a black hole and sucking everything in around it. That's the two life cycles of stars, whether it's a small star or a large star. Now off to Russia again. We all remember this awesome video, all this footage that came out of the Russia last year of this comet smashing into the Earth, specifically into a lake. Now yesterday, officials in Russia pulled out a giant chunk of that meteorite out of the lake. And there we have it. They used a piece of tin. They went down into the lake, put the rock on the lake, and then pulled the tin out of the lake. It's amazing. This is just a small sample, by the way, even though it's rather large. It's a tiny portion of what actually came through. And this is the part that crashed into that lake. Over 1,000 people were injured when this came through. It's amazing that a rock coming into the atmosphere can do that. But look at the close-up here. It looks like a gigantic piece of coal, doesn't it? I probably would too if I'd been burned up in the atmosphere coming into Earth here. Very interesting. Probably a lot of scientists all over the Earth right now are licking their lips thinking, I'd love to get a piece of that. Now it's time to move to a video that was sent in to us from Denmark. Now this is not a MUFON submission. This one is a For You 2C TV submission. Sent in by our awesome follower Drumstick. He recorded this on October 11th, just a few days ago, over Copenhagen, Denmark. He wasn't sure what he was looking at here. You can see about the center of your screen there, that bright red glow. Drumstick thinks this is either a UFO or, possibly a flare. It certainly has the color of a flare, and it burned out. Good job on the camera there, Drumstick. Let's take a instant replay enhanced and zoom in too. Definitely has the flicker of a flame, doesn't it? Right on Drumstick, you're an awesome viewer and follower. Always make a comment. I always look to see what you have to say on UFO Planet. As well as a lot of the other regulars. There's a ton of you, and I pay attention. I know that you guys are regulars, and I appreciate that very much. Now it's time to conclude the program with our final clip today, and this one comes from the United States of America. First off, shot May 1st, 2013 over Scranton, PA. This was a series of photographs that were sent in. I selected the best of the photographs, and I'm going to show you the object that they captured. I call it the slice of pie UFO, because that's what it looks like. Looks like a pie graph with, the part they show out. Shot on May 1st, 2013, case 1552. There's the object as it was about to disappear over a hill. Pikachu with a gun on vacation in southern New York State. This isn't a MUFON submission. This is also a 4U2C TV submission. Recorded October 14th. Pikachu, what were you looking at on vacation there? Good capture. October 13, 2013. Metropolis, Illinois, United States of America.
Can you see it? What is it? Oh, wow. You know what it is, don't you? Can you see it? What is it?
Sadie'ville, Kentucky, October 15, 2013. This particular video was, I think, 10 or 11 minutes long. But it was a continual cycle of the person trying to zoom directly in without a tripod. To me, it kind of has the signature that you see when a rocket is blasting off. Is there anyone else that agrees with that? Case 51569, Sadie'ville, Kentucky. I don't know how close that is to Cape Canaveral or anything like that, or if it's actually a video of a rocket or a star or something up in the sky anyway over Sadie'ville, Kentucky. That's all the videos I have for today. I just want to send out a thank you to everyone who is continuing to send in your videos to 4U2C TV. You can get a hold of me with your video or your photos, Darren at 4U2CTV.com, and I'll email you back. On the next episode, I'm going to feature exclusively footage and photos that have been sent in recently at 4U2C TV. So if you happen to have something that you're hanging on to there, don't be afraid to send it in to me and you might see it on the next program. Also, just want to mention that we had a fabulous chat last Friday night at the UFO Planet chat room at ufoplanet.4u2ctv.com. And there was a few of us that showed up there, and we ended up speaking for about 4 hours to each other. So if anyone's interested, join us Friday nights at 9 p.m. You can get there at 4u2ctv.com. There's a link at the top of that page, or you can go directly to the UFO Planet site. If you're interested in watching some free television, check out 4u2ctv.com as well. We have 250 channels, and you can use your VPN and tune into channels all over the world. The channels are sent to you based on your location. Well, thanks so much for tuning in to For You 2C TV's UFO Planet. Appreciate all the support that I get, and appreciate each and every one of you for making UFO Planet a part of your week. I'll see you again on Monday.